Hello to the world of YouTube. This is your boy Gamer It's 9000 with a Newport, a onesie, and a word to the wise. It is currently, I think, 7:30 in the morning. So good morning to everybody first and foremost. And today my word of the wise is going to be relationship goals and values. Pretty much the do's and don'ts. From my standpoint, not going to say you should follow it. Where should I start? Men, I'm going to start with you. Number one, never think it's okay to be physical with a woman. Never, because it's not needed. You can get your point across from talking, logically. You feel? You can get your point across from explaining yourself. You can get the point across from being a realistic human being. Number two for men, never be afraid to admit to your wrongdoings. Because as men, you don't have to agree with me on this, like I said, from my standpoint. Most men have a pride complex issue, so they don't like to hear when they're wrong. But there's nothing wrong with accepting the fact that you're wrong at times. Hell, most of the time when you're in a relationship, that's what your old lady is for, to let you know when you're being wrong. And at the end of the day, the only ones that won't tell you the truth and you being wrong are the ones that don't give a fuck about you bettering yourself. You have to be willing to work with your old lady, because in a relationship or a marriage, it's all about how much you are willing to sacrifice yourselves for each other. It's all about how much you're willing to do teamwork wise to build each other up. How much you're willing to change about yourself to make yourself a better person. Because nobody's perfect, but at the end of the day, everybody can strive toward perfection. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. Most people need to understand that relationships aren't materialistic, for the most part. Some of them are, and for those that have those relationships that do work, I'm not going to doubt you, and I'm definitely not going to judge you. So, if it's working for you, do your thing. But I am going to say, relationships, by my standpoint, don't need to be materialistic. It depends on the connection you have with somebody. It depends on who you find to be important in your life. It depends on how hard you guys are willing to fight for each other and with each other through the hard times. Because no relationship's going to be perfect. You guys are going to have your arguments, but you have to make it through them. You have to push through. You feel? You gotta be willing to stand by your partner regardless of how fucked up a situation might get. Because if you really do love each other, quitting isn't an option. And prime example, me and my girl, we live in different cities in the same state. Me and her barely get time to see each other at times, but at the end of the day, we're still pushing towards our ultimate goal, which is being together. You feel? Living in the same house, being able to be around each other and de-stress each other and be there for each other. And it's not gonna lie, it could be complicated at times, but ain't nothing gonna stop me from loving her. Because the way I look at it is that in a relationship, you need to be willing to trust your significant other, regardless of what situations you've been in prior, regardless of how far of a distance you are away from them, regardless of how fucked up you may feel about yourself at times, regardless of the temptation that walks around you. If you're in love with one person, you gotta be in love with that one person. And that's where I'm gonna admit most people fail to pick up at. When times get tough, they want to just quit because they're tired of dealing with it. Any real relationship or marriage, if you speak to people in a relationship for a while, that have been in a relationship for a while, I should say, or been in a marriage for a hot minute, they've had some rough times. But at the end of the day, it was them getting through the rough times that made it to where they could secure a better future for themselves, a longer, more healthy marriage for themselves. You feel? A longer, more healthy relationship. And regardless of how angry they can make you, how much they can push your buttons, there's no reason to just up and quit on somebody. You feel? Only time you quit on people in a relationship is if you feel like it's toxic. Like, you mentally can't handle what the person is doing to you on a daily basis. You can't mentally handle the way you feel when you're around this person. The, the way I look at a toxic relationship is that if you can't stand the sight of somebody and the sound of their name just pisses you off, like you just get sick to your stomach, you already know what you need to do. You need to get yourself out of there. Take the time to figure out who you are as a person. Doesn't take long at times. Hell, sometimes it takes years. But it's all on your time. And the way I look at it is, if anybody is watching this video right about now that is in a toxic relationship, get out of it. Don't take the time to wait. Because the more you wait, the harder it's going to be. The more you wait, the harder it's going to be. Because you're going to keep growing a stronger connection to this person. And especially when it comes to abusive relationships. Women, I'm talking to you. Man, I'm talking to you too. If a person is being mentally traumatizing, physically traumatizing, emotionally traumatizing, there's no reason for you to be in that relationship unless you point out what they're doing wrong and they take the real choice to look at the wrongs that they're doing and look at themselves as a whole and see where they're messing up and change themselves. There's no reason for you to continue doing that because it's just not going to change. Like, at that point, if they ain't taking the time out, like the necessary needing of time out to really put themselves in other people's shoes, because hell, my wife helped me realize this the other day. She had to point out I was being an asshole, and at first I was kind of combative, and I was like, all I'm doing is telling the truth. And she helped me realize that, yes, I can still tell the truth, but there's a way of going about it to where I could be more gentle with it. And I still got a lot to learn, so I'm not perfect. But at the end of the day, it's the people that stick by you, and it's the people that'll let you know that you're fucking up, that really do matter, because it's kind of the concept that you need to get into your head that you're not always right, you feel? And I kind of had that complex to where I was like, I'm never wrong, especially when I'm telling the truth. But when it comes down to it, people need to be able to accept the fact that it's okay to be wrong. Just like for the men. Men, I'm speaking to you. Never be afraid to be vulnerable for your old lady. Not for anybody else, your old lady. Because at the end of the day, I realize that family is important. I realize that siblings are important. Your mother is important. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, in the future, you're not going to be marrying your sister or your mother. You're going to be marrying somebody that you're going to want to grow old with for the rest of your life. And if you have a good relationship, there's no reason for you to combat the one person that's trying to help you do better by yourself. Do better as a whole. Do better as a human being, you feel? Try to help better each other as a team. There's no reason for you to combat them. Because at the end of the day, the only thing they want for you is to see the better in you. To see the brightness in you. To see you do better. You feel? They want to see you become the person that they seen the day they fell in love with you. And the way I look at it is, the common misconception that most men get is that I've never had an excuse to be different before. Why should I be different now? And I can understand a way of thinking like that, but I am going to tell you it's not the right way of thinking. Because regardless, there's always room to change. There's always room to better yourself. There's always room to improve. So it's never a bad thing to want to get out of your comfort zone every once in a while and actually do something better for yourself. You know, actually come out of what funk you've been in before and actually do the right thing. You feel? There's nothing wrong with it. And now I'm going to speak to the ladies. Ladies, if your man is vulnerable, if your man shows vulnerability, it is your job. I wouldn't say your job or obligation, but if you're in a relationship with this person and you do love them, I feel like it's your duty to make sure that when they are feeling vulnerable, when they are being vulnerable and showing you emotion, that you don't make them feel guilty about it, that you don't make them feel weak about it. You need to be their rock. You need to be their strength when they're weak. Just like a man needs to be your strength when you're weak. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to love, compassion, and sympathy and empathy. And there's nothing wrong with having that for somebody you care about, somebody that you love. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes a bond stronger. That's what makes a relationship better, is if you guys are willing to have those emotions for each other. Nobody could ever be the hard one all the time in a relationship. It takes two. Because at the end of the day, the person that's the strongest has weak moments. And that's when the person that feels like they are weaker needs to step into the role and actually be there for them. And actually help them through their struggles, their trials, their tribulations. And really motivate them to tell them that they're not fucking up. You feel? That you're just a little bit off. You feel? But if they are fucking up, let them know. Another thing I will say, and this goes for both men and women, if you choose to forgive somebody for their past and to continue to be in a relationship with them regardless of what they did, cheating, lying, stealing, just being an asshole in general, if you choose to forgive somebody for something like that, the one thing you need to do to make sure that your relationship grows stronger and that the person learns from their mistakes is don't remind them constantly of how they fucked up in the past. You need to be the person to remind them that nobody is perfect, that the only thing you need to do is put your mind to it and get your mind right, get your life right, because at the end of the day, like I said, nobody's perfect. And it all comes down to the simple fact is that if you love each other, you guys will be willing to sacrifice everything to make sure you guys have a outstanding relationship and a greater future. Because that's what the pursuit of happiness is. Finding love, making a family, and supporting that family. And you can't do that without a solid relationship. Relationship goals are, as such, you need to be willing to vision yourself 60 years from now with that same person that you fell in love with and be able to be happy and be able to set future goals. Like, I want to retire at this age. I want to be here when I'm about 50 years old. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to be able to take care of my responsibilities, my bills, and I also want to be able to make the female that I'm with or the man that I'm with, for the ladies, as happy as possible. Because at the end of the day, you never know how much struggles they went through before they got with you. You never do until they tell you or until you find out. Do's and don'ts. Always be there for your significant other. Be compassionate. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't make you weak. Doesn't make you stupid. Be respectful, regardless of the situation. Doesn't matter if they're acting a complete asshole. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that they're doing when they're acting a complete asshole and you're showing compassion and being respectful is making themselves look asinine. Making themselves look rude. You feel? Making themselves look like lesser of a human being because of the fact that you are trying to approach the situation calmly. You are trying to help them through their troubles. You are trying to help them through their trials. And you see that they're struggling. The don'ts. Don't ever compare somebody that you have as a significant other to an ex of yours, because that causes a whole lot of drama, causes a whole lot of trouble, and opens up a huge can of worms that you shouldn't even have opened up in the first place. Don't ever say to your significant other that they're acting like your parents, because that draws a straw, and that kind of really tugs on their wires a little bit, on their heart, because it's like half of the time when people are speaking to you, trying to help you to be positive, the last thing you need to do, regardless of how you're feeling, like I said, is make them feel like ass for trying to be the person to be like, well, you should be doing this, you should be helping yourself with this, you should stop doing this. And when they hear stuff like, oh, I hate when you act like my parents, it just makes them not want to tell you that anymore. And at the end of the day, that's what a significant other is supposed to do when they see something you could better yourself in or something you shouldn't be doing. It's to speak up and let you know that you shouldn't be doing stuff like that, to let you know that you are better than what you're being. And to leave off this video, I'm just going to say, I'm going to give a shout out to somebody on my last Facebook, or not Facebook, my last YouTube post. They spoke up and said that I'm the person that this world pretty much needed to hear. And to be honest with you, that touched my heart. I'll tag them in the link, because that was truly amazing to see and to hear, because I started doubting myself recently with these videos. Like, nobody really cares. Nobody wants to listen to these videos. Everybody's just worried about Facebook and social media and people being violent on the internet. People playing video games on the internet. People being obnoxious on social media, you feel? But seeing that the other day made me really want to continue going. Really made me want to be the voice that needs to be heard for everybody out there that doesn't know the answer or feels like they don't know the answer. If you gather the answers in this, then I'm doing my job. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this to make subscribers. Hell, I'm not even doing this for the views. I'm doing this for y'all. Period. And for anybody that watches these videos, I really do appreciate the fact that you take value in my words and my words have weight to you. Because if you guys don't know what to do, then allow me to try to help. Because at the end of the day, I may not be perfect, and I may not be the best person to go to about your issues, but I'm at least somebody that's willing to listen, somebody that's willing to speak to y'all and let y'all know how I feel about certain things that I feel like I can relate to you guys with, you feel? And I wouldn't stop doing this for the world. Sorry it's taken a while to post a video, but stuff's been going on recently to where it's like I haven't really had time. But I'll try to post more, because I know that a couple of people have been wanting to see new videos, so hopefully I gather up the time around later on today or early tomorrow morning, like I just did, to let y'all know how I really be feeling about the life aspects of everything that's going on in the world. And another thing I want to leave off on is for the young people, do the right thing. I'm recording.
Huh?
I'm recording.
Oh, okay.
But to let y'all know, one thing before I stop this video is that In a relationship, you need to be able to value each other, value the goods, the bads, and the uglies, regardless of what they are, and be able to accept somebody for what they are. So, this has been yours truly, GameRich9000. Love every single one of y'all to death. If y'all want to hear about something, comment it down below. Make any suggestions. If anything that I've said has actually reached out to you and really hit you to where you're like, damn, I didn't even know the answer to this, well, here it is now. Just let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, do what you want to do, you feel? At the end of the day, it comes down to the fact, like I told you before, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for you. Love y'all.